Ms. Williamson, there is a copy of that ordinance, the resolution is part of your packet of the blue agenda on top.
I will make the motion to change the title of the Borough Secretary. I'll second it. Roll call, please.
Mr. Lesher?
Yeah.
Mr. Muser?
Yes.
Ms. Smith?
Yes.
Ms. Van Auken?
Yes.
Ms. Williams? Vice President Williams?
Yes.
President Stevenson?
Yes.
Tell me.
On the table this evening is the report from the tax collector that came in earlier before the meeting, and I believe Mayor Blue has a report in the meeting, and Mr. Rodriguez has a report also.
Do you have copies of the mayor's report?
No, this is turned in. It came with the mayor this evening.
This is the UCR report.
Mayor, do you think perhaps on the board we could get the report earlier so that we could have details of council and members of the public? Okay.
I would love to show everybody this. This is what's going on in our borough, in our Colwyn. Pass it around and I let everybody look at it.
Can you tell us what it is?
510 South Fourth Street. 510, the resident parking like 10 or 15 cars in the back of his yard, and he constantly working on, and all of that is spilling in our yards and everywhere, and I want something done about it because this is a hazard.
Yeah, all you gotta do is send Dave Shagaloni down and take care of it in 5 seconds.
And also right across from there, a person got about 4 or 5 refrigerators sitting in the back of his yard. Something gotta be done, and we gotta have some kind of codes in Colwyn Borough.
We do have.
That's the bottom line.
Currently, we have codes, and we did have Mr. Catania address the issue with regard to the, what's the address?
510
South Fourth Street, and we are working to take care of that issue. With regard to what's the refrigerators, this is the first time this
I mean, my lieutenant, he know more about it. I brought it to his attention, but he was already aware of it. Two of the refrigerators have tops on them, and right, the kids can get inside of them. That's right. So something got to be done.
Write up the letter, make sure they'll get rid of it. We got the Borough Manager and 2 secretaries down there. We can certainly write a letter.
Just, if you don't mind, council, we, Catania Engineering Associates, was advised of the situation, and we did send out our inspector, and there was a notice of violation that was sent to the property owner.
The 510 South Fourth?
This is one of the vehicles.
Yes, yes.
It's a junkyard.
It was, they got a violation for having an abandoned vehicle on the property. Now, if council was able to find additional information that could justify, or maybe let's say prove that there is a business operating out of there and they don't have that, then we could, further cite them on that issue. But right now, without having that evidence, we only cited them for abandoned vehicles.
Alex,
Trash.
what happened on that property, previous owner used to, owned the house, used to work on cars and all. There was always 1 or 2 cars back there, but this guy just took it to it's not his own personal cars to have all the vehicles in there. And the cars were originally parked on the street. And the police department went down there and told the guy to take the cars off of the street, and he took them from the street right to the backyard. So it's not a police matter no more, it's a code matter.
Excuse me, I'll say something.
Yes.
To my knowledge, a report was filed for all the work that he did on someone's car, and she came to the police department and took an officer back. So that's your proof. It should be in the police report.
We'll follow up on this.
Yes, we have a lot of kids in Colwyn Borough, and one of them kids get locked up in them cars, and that'll be
The refrigerators or the cars?
the cars and the refrigerators.
So we're going to address the issue, Ms. Mason?
Yes.
regarding the-
And the refrigerators on the same property with the abandoned car?
No.
No, they're across from it. What's that address?
Ms. Mason will find out. and we'll give you the
And
information.
a couple months ago, the refrigerators would have disappeared before the price went down.
Did you-
I'm not finished with my report yet. It is, some, out of these kids, I don't know who's doing it, but they're breaking in a lot of vehicles off Ellison Street. And, I think, Lieutenant, I don't know if you know about it yet, you probably got a couple calls about it. But, they is breaking in 10 cars off Ellison Street. And it's really starting to get a little serious in our Colwyn. A lot of stuff gonna have to be addressed.
Yes, so that's
That's-
the police department, and we, on our side where I lived, we were told about, a few cars that were, broken into. I can't even say they were broken into, some of the residents didn't lock their cars, and someone went through, pilfered, and took things out of the cars.
Yeah.
So what I would say, to the residents is please make sure you lock your doors. They haven't at this point broken any windows, but if they're checking to see if your doors are open. Oh,
That's my report, Jack.
thank you, Mayor Blow. Mr. Sheets, you have a report?
No further, other than what was given.
Thank you. Mr. Catania?
Rodriguez.
I'm sorry.
Alex, you want my chair, want your chair
Mr.
back?
Rodriguez.
Council President, Council, you have my report. There's a few items that have been just ongoing in the past, so I'll highlight the two latest items. The first one is fairly straightforward and minor. The Pennsylvania DEP Chapter 94, it's a sanitary sewer report. They have a report that's due before March 31st of this year, and we would just request the council authorize Catania Engineering to complete that report on your behalf so that we can get the report in time to meet the Pennsylvania DEP's deadline.
Yeah, we got to do that.
What's the report?
The DEP has like the standard forms for sewage flows for each municipality. Each municipality is required to complete that and submit it to the state by March 31st. So typically, the borough engineers for each community fills those out for you.
And what's the deadline?
March 31st.
Thank you.
The second item, just to keep council aware, is that I did receive a phone call from a person who is claiming to be a developer who is interested in building a charter school on the, I think it's the Cachuti property. Cachuti.
Is
So,
that the one that was just
Yeah,
on fire?
yeah, he's the guy, Cachuti's the guy that promised to cut the grass down there in the park and never did it, so he's a pie in the sky guy. I know about a lot of that guys, because I hung out on all these corners in Darby, there's a lot of guys
it's
like
not
that.
the John Cachuti that's putting in a request, it's an
Yeah, I
applicant
know,
who's saying they want.
I know.
So he contacted me about, what's involved, and I stated to him that, I said, the zoning does not allow a school, unfortunately, for that, it's an industrial district. And I said to him that he would have to go through a zoning hearing board application. He then called again subsequently after that, saying that he contacted the borough, and the borough wasn't aware of the process, about, like the borough doesn't have an application, things like that. So I'm not even sure if the borough appointed a zoning hearing board panel, but just to give you a
We
heads
have
up.
one.
They do
They
have.
do?
We
Okay, you have
have one,
that,
and
and
we've
then-
reached out to them.
Good, so if you
Yes.
have that, and you have the zoning hearing board solicitor, hopefully in charge, I just wanted to make sure that he didn't try to
No,
circumvent the system if he needs an
we're aware.
application. So,
Yeah, please share that name and number with my follow-up.
Sure.
Alex,
And-
be done on a question for you.
Sure.
I received the same phone call from Mr. Cachuti a couple of weeks ago. I really didn't think nothing of it. He wanted to bring a charter school in from Chicago.
That's
He wants
the same- I
to,
think
he
it's
wants
the
to
same
sell the
one.
land for $8 million,
God bless him.
and he wants the borough to pay for all the legal fees for the zoning, because the zoning has to be changed down there. And I said, John, I said, well, what are you gonna, do to put any money out? He really couldn't answer that question, but he wants the revenue from the property, and I said, I don't know, I don't think a charter school would be good down there because of the flooding issues and the problems we've had down there over the years.
Well, the burden is always typically that the applicant, developer, it's all the costs associated with really on them. That's the main burden.
I think it's a pie in the sky dream myself, but you know, you have to really know Mr. Kachuti, like I do, and Mr. West.
Oh, my goodness
We're old
gracious.
timers. And, you know, he's always out for himself, and, you know.
Hey,
that's the way I feel.
he talked Borough Council into kind of giving him land and putting a fence around his property. He did a lot of things down here. That just amazes me, like Donald Trump says, these people aren't business people. You know?
Does that conclude?
Well, that concludes my report.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Ms. Najami? Ms. Mason, is Ms. Najami here?
Pardon?
Ms. Najami, is she here?
She's not here, but she did submit her report, and that's, her report is dated March 10th.
Madam President, do we have to make motion to accept the report from the mayor, the solicitor, and the engineer?
We do.
Okay.
Madam President, it's a separate document, came in after the agenda.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Did you see it?
I'm sorry?
Did you see it?
Yeah.
Doesn't
Can I make a motion to adopt the reports of the engineer, the mayor's report, and the tax collector's report?
You want to do them all at once? I'll make all three. I'm not do a triple header. I'd like to make a motion for the engineer's report, the mayor's report, and my buddy Alex, the catcher.
Second and report.
Mayor, roll call vote.
Mr. Lusher?
Yes.
Mr. Muser?
Yes.
Ms. Smith? Ms. Van Auken? Ms. Williams? Vice President Williams?
Yeah, that is
President Stevenson?
Yes. Thank you. We have spoken in the past about borough committees, and we have not appointed any heads of committees. I am giving the public opportunities to participate in the committees and as well as council. It's my desire to appoint committee chairs at our next meeting. So if you have any questions regarding the committees, please comment. Or if you have a suggestion for another committee, you could do that as well. Any comments?
Yes, I would. I had mentioned it to you, Mr. President, that I will help somebody and in preparation because I work during the day, and but I would help somebody. That's it.
Okay, thank you. Any other comments regarding committees?
Do those microphones work?
Hello?
Well, why
Can you hear
can't you
me?
use them so we can all hear?
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
That's all.
Okay.
You can't hear what's going on.
I truly do
All
not
right,
know.
any
Unless it's a
other
private
comments?
meeting, then I'll go home.
I'm sorry. I
Thank
couldn't
you.
understand you. You want to use the microphone?
No, I mean, it would be nice if we could hear what you're saying.
I'm asking
Right.
if you have any questions regarding our committees.
So far, I've only heard about 2% of the meeting.
How long were you
That's
here?
all
Can't hear it back here.
How long have you been here?
One thing, I haven't heard very much
No,
either.
here tonight. Here tonight, sir.
since about 7:05.
Well, if you had said something earlier, I would have used the microphone.
I thought that was normal procedure to
Okay, we're
use.
gonna, if you wanna make another comment, you can stand up at the podium,
Thank
give your
you.
name and address. Any public comments on items not on the agenda?
Not on the
I'm sorry,
agenda?
Not on the agenda.
Yeah, I do.
Ms. Muser?
Okay. Because they decided to change the agenda, I think it's important that everybody start reading whatever the Sunshine Act says. I had asked this gentleman, I want a yes and a no vote in writing of who did it. And I'll tell you why, because it says it right here, and we were told January 2014 by the courts, the same thing. It tells you it's important that all actions of council be carefully recorded, especially when it comes to finance, okay? But it also says it is very important for both finance and any other business being done. The council disagrees in any of the majority action. You must record the yes and no votes as who they are. That is in the Sunshine Act. That's why the other paper was good, because it did tell you.
Ms. Muser, okay, I just want to stop you for a second. Ms. Mason started here
I
on Monday.
understand that, I agree.
Going forward, we will go back to the way we were using the minutes, where we recorded the yes and no votes.
Okay, I appreciate that,
All right.
because I tried telling my husband, after what the court said to us and tried to downgrade us, it should be very important for every council member to have a yes or no vote ready, because it tells you when it comes to the law, if something happens, that individual can be the one being fined as well as whoever does the action.
Okay,
So
thank you.
that's important. I
we're
don't know,
moving
all I
forward.
know is you did a vote on whatever was going on. As he said, I couldn't hear half of what of it. Before you do a vote, it also states that the public comment can help with that before you do the vote. We should be allowed to say what we feel about that vote before it
At the
happens.
beginning of the meeting, you
No.
had an opportunity to make a comment on any items on the agenda.
But this is, okay, and there's
Right.
nothing here, so we have no idea what was
Okay,
going on.
moving forward, as I said,
Okay,
we will revert back to the
I like to have
format that we had.
I also
before.
want a copy of the finance report.
Okay.
I'm requesting it, I have the legal right to have
You can
it,
do
same with
that.
the minutes.
You can do that. You can
Okay,
do that
and the minutes.
question.
We got
Thank
three-
you, Ms. Muser.
Three people working in the office, I'll be glad they give it to you, Bruce. We got a borough manager, two
Any
other
other
people.
comments?